In today's video, there is some jet-powered skateboard shenanigans to start seeing how the jet engine is going to fit onto the skateboard. Also say goodbye to Helena, who was the girl that was in the video I did a couple of days ago. Helena here. Say hi, Helena.
Hi, Helena.
She's gone back to Australia. And also, what was the third thing? Now truthfully, I'm kind of excited to be taking this skateboard down to the workshop. The reason for that is I've had no reason to have it down here before. The last few weeks has basically been trying to get this jet engine on the go. In the previous video, finally got it going till it's, it's doing its cool down sequence, it's running nice and easy, it's just good. So it is now ready to go onto this skateboard. So the skateboard is down here because I need to start figuring out where's it going to go, how's it going to be positioned, that kind of thing. I will be absolutely fantastically honest with you. This is getting damn exciting. So close to getting the jet-powered skateboard on the go. Yeah. Right, so I think the jet engine looks a lot cooler if it's lower. I also think that's quite practical as well. I'm not sure if there's a need for it to be higher, like perhaps higher off the ground will mean there's less chances of stuff getting into the engine and damaging it, but this screen is already on it, so that should help a lot. Obviously the jet engine is just sitting on top of the skateboard truck right now. Now I'm not quite sure how to do it. I mean, that's why I'm in here today, is to try and figure out, how low can I go, how high can I go, how far forward, how far backwards, that kind of thing. One thing I was thinking, initially, let's say we got the skateboard here. This is the back of the skateboard. Got the truck there. So initially I thought the jet engine would go something like that. I thought the mount would, there'd be something here and it would go up like that. And that there would be like a flat sheet, a 4 or 6 millimeter sheet, something like that. However, I've been thinking, the bolts on the trucks are where I'm going to be bolting it onto. I mean, look at that, that's just perfect, absolutely perfect. There's no need to go onto the board or anything. Those bolts there, or those bolt holes, are what I'm going to utilize. It's just ideal. But these bolts are vertical. The mounts on here are vertical. So that goes like that, so there's holes there, vertical, mount here, vertical. It's good to keep it vertical because if I use that plate idea that I showed you on the whiteboard, then I've got to go from vertical bolts to plates that are going to have horizontal bolts, come up to the top, and then I'll have to go from horizontal bolts to vertical bolts again. So that makes sense, hopefully. So what I'm thinking now is that you see this plate here. So I'm thinking of having a smaller version of that plate here. It would just be raised, an inch or so off the truck. And then raised off of that would be a frame similar to this frame here. And that way I can keep upright bolts there, and then the plate can come out. And you know what? I don't think I'm explaining it very well. It's kind of hard to explain without a drawing and stuff like that. It's in my head. I've kind of got it in my head, kind of. So what I'll do is, I'll see if I can do a drawing or something for the next video. For just now, I just need to try and figure out the best height and how far forward, how far back, that kind of thing. You can only do so much in your head, trying to figure out how to mount it, and that kind of thing, because you think, oh, the bolt holes are roughly there, the engine's roughly this size and shape, and I was out for a walk today and I should have been sociable and been talking with people, but I just kind of wandered off on my own and was thinking about how to mount this, and like, just selfish, selfish, obsessed. Screw it, it's my life, I can do what I want. But when I come down and start, you know, fiddling with the engine and actually holding it there, I'm like, oh wait a minute, I wasted a lot of effort thinking about it when that's actually not quite the size and shape, and that's not quite the layout, and that's not how it would quite work or not work. And so for now, I am thinking, rather than having it somewhere in the middle there, I'm thinking, let's just have it quite a bit back. Like, I don't see any reason why I can't have it that far back. I think that would work. There are, however, two more issues. One is that wiring I just showed you. All that wiring's still got to go on, apart from this little screen. You see this screen? That screen there is the only thing that doesn't need to go on. You know, you can tune it up and, you know, and see things and set it up with that, but that doesn't need to be on when you actually run the jet engine. The other thing is a fuel tank. Now, I was in a store earlier and I was having a look at this thing. Now that's like an aluminium can attached to a spray gun for spray painting stuff. What an excellent can, I thought. It looks a little bit fat, a little bit chunky. I think this layout would be better if, you know, perhaps one or two longer sort of fuel tanks, because that aluminium cylinder it's bigger than this, like it's wider, and so there's just going to be this big, fat, ugly fuel tank sitting on the side. Not ugly, but you know what I mean. Like, I think something more streamlined would be better. So that's a work in progress. You know, that thing might work, but I'm gonna think about it a bit more. In terms of the electronics, I'm not gonna take this thing out in the rain, probably. So do I need to house it in a waterproof container? No, I don't think so. But I don't want the wires all hanging around and lying around. It needs to be neat, it needs to be good. It needs to be, according to my obsessive compulsive personality traits, it needs to be OCD proof. At the airport just now, dropping off Helena, who was in the video a couple of days ago. She's flying out of here today. As I film this, I'm up to around about 550 something subscribers on YouTube. Videos on average get something between, you know, 100 to 200 views for each new video in the first sort of 48 hours. I'm growing. There's certainly a lot more viewers and such than when I first started. But I'd like to tell you something that's kind of strange. It may sound weird, but it's the truth. I look at the analytics, which is like the back end of YouTube, and in those analytics I can see where people are from, if they're viewing my videos on a tablet or a main PC or a phone or something like that. I can see like where in videos people drop off and, you know, how much on average people view and things like that. But what's really good, and it shouldn't make a difference, it does make a difference, but it probably shouldn't, and that's comments. When people comment and say, "Hi Tessa," it's Tessa. Tessa? When I get a comment where someone says, "Hey, I've been watching your videos every day for months now, I look forward to it every morning," and that kind of thing, like, it really genuinely motivates me. I wouldn't have thought it would, but it does. Like, those kind of comments. I'm not seeking comments from you right now, I'm just telling you that, like, comments make a difference. As a creator, as someone who records videos every day, spends about 4 hours on average editing and uploading them, you know, it's not a small investment of time, and it's good to know that at least one person is getting something out of it. You know, sometimes you get some great comments and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna keep doing this. Now, I don't know about you, but I have fairly big dreams. I think they're big dreams. And one of the things that comes along with that is living life with other people who perhaps don't share the same dreams, but more often don't have such big dreams, big goals, things like that. One of the things I've found is it's not possible for people to understand the decisions I make right now, because the decisions I make now, they're in line with very long-term thinking, long-term goals and things I'm aiming and striving to achieve. And so it doesn't make sense, because someone might say, why would you do this? I find there's not even any point explaining it to others. Like, it's kind of like your own thing. I pretty much don't tell people my goals and dreams, certainly not just anyone, but the very rare person I will. And part of the reason for that is that whenever I do say something, I typically regret it, because it's mine, it's inside me, it should be mine. And I think, that's probably one of the reasons. I'm not quite sure why I'm sharing this. Perhaps it's frustration, I don't know. Like, right now business is it's on a bit of a plateau right now. You make some progress, it flatlines. You make some progress, it flatlines. And it's been a bit of a long flat line right now. And so I've been doing a lot of thinking and rethinking and that kind of thing. So I think that's why I'm sharing it with you. I'm just thinking and taking a step back, taking a look at my life, what I'm doing, what I'm not doing, business. And in line with that, I have a very, very good quote for you today. It's by Earl Nightingale. And he said, "Never give up on a dream just because of the time it will take to accomplish it. The time will pass anyway."